Good evening, everybody. We're going to start in just another minute or two, giving you a chance to join for our preparing for Pesach session tonight. So just hang tight, and we'll get underway. I'm just going to post a reminder to WhatsApp in case anybody maybe forgot that now is the time for our little Q&A session. So hang tight. We're going to get started in just a minute. Okay, again, if you're just joining us, we're going to wait another minute before we get going. So thanks for joining us. See, already a lot of people are here. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Our session tonight is being recorded, so that if you need to make reference to it one more time or a few more times, you'll have that opportunity. And tomorrow, an email will be sent out with a link. But for now, to start our program off, I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Morgenstern.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Well, we have the lucky number 40. 40 is a good number in Judaism. So this program is brought to you by your sponsor. It's Haaretz Margaretten Egg Matzahs. And I'll tell you why. Well, you'll find out in a moment. Because egg matzahs are going to play, at least the way we see things, a prominent role in our Pesach preparatory experience, whereas normally egg matzah is off limits on Pesach itself, unless a person is has weak teeth for the young, or for the or super young, or people who have certain infirmities. This year it's going to play a role that it normally wouldn't play, and I'll explain that in a moment. First, just to give you, so that's our sponsor, Haaretz Margaretten Egg Matzahs. Okay, back on the egg matzahs. So just to give you a little, frame it with a little bit of Torah. The Torah is as follows. The Torah says when the Jewish people receive the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, and this is Parshas Bo, Parshas HaChodesh that we read on Shabbos. It says, Mishchu ukechu lachem. I want you to mishchu, like push, and take. So it's a very odd language, and the rabbis say, what does this mean, mishchu ukechu? So they say, mishchu yedechem min avodah zara, ukechu lachem korban pesach. Take your hands away, pull your hands away from the idolatry, the avodah zara that you're involved in, because we were idolaters, not just in the time of Abraham, and and it just stopped. It didn't. In Egypt, we were all idolaters. We're all worshiping idols. Take your hands away from the idols, and ukechulachem korban Pesach. And I want you to take our korban Pesach, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to give you a mitzvah to be involved in, right? So instead of being involved in all of these pagan rites and practices, I'm going to give you a mitzvah to be involved in. But in fact, it's not just a mitzvah, it's many mitzvot, right? There's a myriads of mitzvot that relate to the Korban Pesach, right? That the Korban Pesach has to be, you take it and set it aside, and then it has to be a certain, type of animal, and a certain type of age. And then when you have to roast it whole, and you have to roast it, and you can't cook it, in water, and you can't break a bone in it. And anyone who've been learning the daf, all these different halachos and it's like kind of crazy on some level, because you're like, here's this pagan nation of idolaters, and all of a sudden they have to do all of these, follow all of these strict halachos, these rules, and don't leave for, until the morning. And if you do leave in the morning, then burn it. Why? Why did Hashem do this? And the answer is because we needed to have as many mitzvot as possible. God needed to fill us up with mitzvot. And sometimes those mitzvot can seem burdensome or difficult, or, almost like, completely, minute and not, totally that they don't matter, but they do matter, right? Every detail matters. And that's actually the point. One of the major points of Pesach is that the details matter, because when we care about something a whole lot, what do? We protect it, right? A person has a diamond in their pocket, and the Seal Sharm says, you take the diamond, you put it in a bag, and then you put it in a box, and then you take that box and you put it in another bag, and then you wrap that, and then you put it in the sukkah, right? You protect it. And what Pesach is supposed to meant to engender within us is this sense that the mitzvahs are precious, and they're very detailed. And if perhaps we're not as meticulous as we normally are, as we normally should be throughout the years. Sarah Berger, you are for sure very meticulous. But if we're not as meticulous as we are on Pesach, we're doubly and triply meticulous about the mitzvot, medactic on the mitzvot, to show that this truly matters. Even if we do it super duper perfectly for a week, that makes a difference into the year as we head into the year. So, and with that said, this is one of those times where it's not just Pesach, and it's not just that we have all those different, minutiae of details, and can I drink this, and can I have this, and this medicine, and that, and what can I do this way, and how can I do this way? Erev Pesach shechal lios be Shabbos. It's the Erev Pesach falls out on Shabbos. So what do we do? How do we do it? So here we go. Number one, we start on Thursday. Tani Pechorot will be on Thursday, okay? Which means that the Siyum in the morning will be on Thursday. That's 7:30 in the morning. That's 7:30. That's 7:30 in the morning. Will be davening, and then the Siyum right thereafter. I don't know, 8:05, something like that. And that is Tani Bechorot. So it's not on Erev Pesach. It's not even on Erev Pesach. It's actually on Erev Pesach on Thursday. So we don't have a fast day on Friday, and we don't have a fast day on Shabbos. Okay. Next, B'dikas Chametz, also Thursday night. B'dikas Chametz is not going to be Friday night. That just would be odd, right? We're not going to use a fire. We can't, right? So it's B'dikas Chametz going to be Thursday night. Obviously, if you're going away, you know what the halacha is. We've discussed this in the past. We'll go over it with you. If you're wondering, right? You do B'dika the night before you leave your house, but regular B'dikas Chametz Thursday night, wherever you are, whether it's here or in an apartment or an hotel room or something like that. Okay. Friday morning. What happens Friday morning? So Friday morning, the only thing you really have to do is burning of chametz. Okay, and you'll see the times. I'll actually pull it up. I'll do a quick screen share. Can I? Yes. Where is it? Here's the timing. If you see there on the right, burning chametz Latest time we go by the Magen Avram's time. We're more machmir. So the burning latest time for chametz 11:46. So you're going to do burning of chametz, disposal of chametz on Friday. However, super important, you're allowed to eat chametz all day Friday. You're allowed to eat chametz, and we'll talk about Friday night and Shabbos in a moment. And then Shabbos morning will be whatever chametz you didn't burn because you're saving some chametz perhaps for Friday night. Whatever chametz you didn't burn on Friday by 11:46 a.m. you will dispose of in the morning. Also, by this time, it's around the I think it's the same exact time by 11:46 a.m. to annul the chametz. How do you dispose of it? One of two ways. Either you take whatever excess chametz you still have in your house and you can flush it down the toilet. You break it into little pieces, flush it down the toilet, or which is actually fulfills that which the Shulchan Aruch says that very early in the laws of Pesach, where it says either you burn chametz or you throw it into the sea to dissolve. So that's how we throw it into the sea. We throw it into the toilet, or you put it in a garbage bag, take the garbages, put them out in your driveway, right? Symbolically showing, right? And you make make sure you could throw some. You can make the chametz yaki, right? Throw some water on it or orange juice or something, right? To totally make it spoiled, and then put it outside your house. The sale of chametz that I will have done on Friday morning will take effect on that Shabbos morning. So the chametz, right, at that time when you're going to annul your chametz as well, you actually do bittul. You do the annulling of chametz on Friday morning as well. Okay, so that is basically that. Now let's look at a magic time here. Not magic, but let's look at an important time. Eating chametz. Okay, the last time you could eat chametz according to the Magen Avraham, which is the more machmir. Usually we go by the Gra, the Vilna Gaon. But Erev Pesach, we go by the Magen Avraham. That's Minhag Yisrael. That's all of Westchester does that. That's the way to go. So that will be 10:30 in the morning. So let's figure this out. So now the question of the day is, what do we do? What do we eat? By the way, Jeffrey Stein, yes, for the website. We're going to give you the link tomorrow morning. We'll give you the link to that website. That's the OU Erev Pesach Shabbos thing. Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, so you could either save chametz, like mamish chametz, eat, challah, and go crazy on Friday night, even Shabbos morning, up until 10:31 a.m. Up until 10:30 in the morning, you could have chametz, and then you could get rid of it, and then whatever left over, you could get rid of either by putting, flushing down the toilet, or by putting in the garbage. For those of us who are a little bit, that's a little bit wary of that's a little scary. Egg matzah, Horowitz, Margaretten, egg matzah. I'm sure Manischewitz makes good egg matzah, and here's why it's okay. In general, matzah is not allowed to be eaten. There are different minhagim on this. Some don't eat matzah from all the way from Purim until Pesach. Other people don't eat it from Rosh Chodesh Nisan up until Pesach. Other people just say, no, Erev Pesach is the issue of not eating matzah. The kind of matzah that we're talking about is what we call matzah's mitzvah. Matzah that you can fulfill your obligation on Seder night. Guess what? Matzah is called lechem oni. It's called the bread of affliction, right? Poor man's bread. What does matzah ashira mean? Rich bread, right? I mean, go to the house of a wealthy person, and all of a sudden they're taking out, forget about breads, and they're taking out egg matzah. No, it's whatever. It's matzah that's kneaded either with eggs, or there's fruit juices. There are questions about its status with regard to chametz, and that's the reason why we're machmir. And I say we. I don't mean Scarsdale is machmir. That we don't usually. That usually doesn't go. It goes together. COVID been very machmir, but no, we're all of Klal Yisrael. the Jewish people are machmir about egg matzah. We don't eat egg matzah unless, again, someone needs it for, they have infirmities or children or whatever. But here, this is a perfect solution. So eat the egg matzah. This way, you don't have to worry. It's not chametz. It's just something we try not to eat. We don't eat on Pesach, but it's not chametz. So therefore, you don't have to worry about the crumbs. You don't have to worry about all of that stuff. So that's why I think that's the best idea for Friday night. Have the egg matzah. Just an interesting caveat. I remember I was on a Pesach program many years before I was a rabbi, and it was with this situation. And they had a lot of Sephardim on the program, and there were a bunch of Ashkenazim. And the Sephardim went with the egg matzah thing, right? Because for the caterer, it's impossible to have a full, chametz, meal in the dining room, whatever, and then to reset, impossible, crazy. So we went with egg matzah, and it was fine. The Sephardim, they didn't go with egg matzah. Why? Because Sephardim hold that egg matzah gets a mizonos. They don't hold that you can make hamotzi on egg matzah. So they hold it's mizonos. So therefore, or mizonot. So therefore, they had challah. So they're like eating these beautiful, fluffy challahs, and all the Ashkenazim are like munching on egg matzah and like sort of like eating their hearts out. Like, what the heck? Seriously? Like, but if they're not Jewish, no, they're very Jewish. They're very Jewish. They have different Masorah. It's all good. Baruch Hashem. So again, if you want to go with challah, Gegez into hate, but that's how you have to do. You have to make sure you dispose of it by 10:30. But otherwise, egg matzah Friday night, I think that makes sense. And then Shabbos morning, what we're going to do is as follows. Davening, I believe we call davening for 8 a.m. Correct, Rabbi Klinger? Yeah. Davening 8 a.m. Okay, so you have to eat your meal because you can't eat egg. Very important. You can't eat egg matzah past 10:30 in the morning, right? Because even egg matzah falls into that category of like, oh, maybe it's chametz. We're not sure. We don't eat it, right? Because all the things we're not allowed to eat on Pesach, that comes into play once 10:31 a.m. hits. So therefore, there's no what's it called? So then we're going to daven early, 8 a.m. davening, and then you'll go home and we'll and you'll have your meal. Now, what will that meal be? So that's up to you. But basically, I'll give you the basic halacha. I just saw Barbara Weinberg asking, can you make hamotzi outside? 100%. You want to say, I'll have bread, and we're going to have all that bread, and we're going to have it outside? No problem. Again, no problem. Just make sure you dispose of it, either, flushing down the toilet or in a garbage out at the end of your driveway. I'll check your driveway, Barbara, on Pesach morning. And then you're fine. So that is fine. So what do we do? So we know the halacha is supposed to have 3 meals on Shabbos. So Friday night, meal 1. Shabbos morning, you can't have a meal before davening. That's a no-no, right? Coffee and cake. Some people might say no. I come from a Hasidic background, and the Shulchan Aruch backs us up. We're weak. We go to davening. It's fine, okay? But that doesn't count as a meal. A meal needs to be a meal based off of a staple of bread or matzah or egg matzah in this case. So therefore, there are 2 ways to do it. One way to do it is you get home from shul and you quickly you come home, make kiddush, break out that egg matzah with 2 matzahs, right? Hamotzi, have a little bit of something, right? Whatever it is you're going to eat, and then bench, and then take a walk, and then have another meal after that. We're going to open up for questions in about 1 minute. I'm not a fan of that. I think it's like a fake, as we would say in camp, it's a fake out breakout. Is it a meal or is it not a meal? Like, come on, like it's a meal. Like, oh, I'm going to wash and bench, and then I'm going to take a walk for 15 minutes, and I'm going to have another meal. That's just my opinion. You can. There's grounding in halacha if you want to do that, and then have your another meal. That means you're having shalosh shudas finished by 10:31 a.m. Gegez into it. Okay, go crazy, have fun. I would suggest you go to shul, you come back from shul, you eat your meal, you with the egg matzah, you bench, right? You wash, you kiddush, wash, bench, And then later on in the day, when you're ready for, you want lunchtime or whatever, so you can eat. You're not going to eat any, as we say, any mizonos, right, or any matzah or even egg matzah, nothing like that. You'll have meat, fish, salads, fruits, whatever, vegetables, and you could be yotze. You'll be yotze shalosh shudas that way, and this way you're all covered. That's basically that. As far as preparations for the Seder, very important. Okay, you are not allowed to prepare. We already know that you're not allowed to prepare from one day of Yontif to the second day of Yontif, right? From day 1 to day 2, right? They have to be separate and apart in that way, right? So you can't prepare at the end of day 1 for day 2. Kal v'chomer, right? How much more? So you can't prepare from Shabbos to Yontif. So Seder, as far as the Seder table, my strong recommendation would be have the Seder table set already, if possible, before Shabbos, right? Have it set on Friday afternoon already. It's a beautiful, sort of way to go into the Yontif. It's there, it's ready. Maybe you'll eat your meals on a different table before that on Shabbos. If not, if you need to set, you could, again, to make the table look nice on Shabbos, again, that's okay. But let's be honest, right? If you're literally setting it for that night on Shabbos, really, not appropriate, and it's what we call chana, and that's a big no that denigrates, the value of Shabbos. And in addition to that, obviously preparations like grating the horseradish and all of the other stuff, the yummy things that we do, for sure, again, that should be done not on Shabbos. That should be done after Shabbos. Are there ways to, if you're doing for the kids and the kids need and they want to have on, and it's still early in the day because we changed the clocks, right? It's Shabbos afternoon and you want to give them something, so okay, you'll give them something special, and maybe there happens to be left over. Maybe that's okay, but again, I really would stay away from those kinds of things and let your everything happen once Havdalah hits and Shabbos is over. Then you're free to do whatever you need to do to prepare for the Seder. That is that. Rabbi Klinger.
Okay. So what we'll do now, using your reaction button, you can raise your hand. See what I'm doing right here. I raise my hand. And then we'll kind of go through the queue, and you can unmute yourself when you're called upon. If you prefer to use the chat box, or the raise hand function is eluding you, again, feel free to go that way as well. So
we'd rather hear from you. I'll just say, Rabbi Kling and I talked about this. We want to hear from you. How often do we get to see your punim? Let's.
So if you feel also comfortable turning on your video when you ask the question, that would be wonderful too. We're going to start off, Diane Stern. Diane, you feel free to unmute yourself.
I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, okay. Your raise hand function. I'm going to lower your hand. Don't worry. Aria Free, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. I have 3 questions. Okay, 1, can children have kitniot like bamba on Pesach?
Are your children Sephardic?
No. This is coming from Shimon and Tavita.
Better not. If there's literally nothing that.
I said no, but I said I would ask you. So
yeah. I'm going with Arya on this one. Unless it's like extenuating circumstance, there's literally nothing else the kid will eat other than bamba.
With lolly cones. Okay. Okay. Also, you talked about the egg matzah for the motzi. How much do you have to eat of it for the motzi? A board?
However much you would eat for matzah in general, like half a matzah, I think, is it kazayas. Right, Rabbi Klinger, is that sound right?
Matzah?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I was reading the OU magazine, and they talked about like certain products, if it has an OU, and it doesn't have it specifically a kosher Pesach sign, you can use it on Pesach. So okay. So like, let's say I know I asked you about frozen meat and frozen poultry and meat in the freezer. That's good to have. What about frozen vegetables and frozen fruit? Because that's been cut up. That's no good? Or is that good?
Rabbi Klinger and I were just talking about this. Okay, frozen vegetables are problematic unless they have the kosher Pesach, because apparently they're packed together with like Hummings preservatives and together with like pastas and things like that. So that would be a problem. Frozen fruits are fine.
Frozen fruits are fine.
Yeah.
And then do we go by what's in the OU magazine, like what they say you can buy? That's good.
100%.
Read that. Okay, very good. Those are my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. Let's go over to David Zeitz. You can unmute yourself.
It's actually Raquel, but I don't know how to get my screen. I don't know what I did. So please don't be offended. Am I there? No. Okay. Hi, everyone. I wanted to ask about, I missed the beginning, so if it's repetitive, I'm sorry. In terms of the warming drawer, I know I asked last year, this is my only second time home with a warming drawer. Are you able to kosher that for Pesach or not?
Rabbi Klinger, you want to take this?
Yeah, so the guidance we've given on the warming drawers is to wait 24 hours from the last time that it was used to clean it thoroughly. And I know in the past, Rabbi Morrison, you've said that put a tin of like hot water on one side of the warming drawer, put it on for 30 minutes until there's steam, and then move it to the other side of the warming drawer. Same thing, about 30 minutes, get some steam, and after it cools, I know we've said that. Rabbi Morrison, just correct me if I'm wrong, but to line the surface with tin foil, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
Okay. So technically I could still, if I'm obviously all kosher Pesach by Friday. So for Friday evening, I could already use it because everything is kosher.
Yep.
For Pesach. Okay. And then the other question it's because I missed it, in terms of, so we're saying that after shul, Shabbos, I think David is returning to shul. That's going to be his first Shabbos post-COVID. It's very exciting. We just got our second vaccines. When you come back from shul, you're suggesting to make kiddush, then have egg matzah, and then like a larger meal with no mizonot in the afternoon for like what when you would have your regular Shabbos meal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit later. I don't know how hungry you'll be after that. The 10:30.
Right. Well, I mean, I may not really be feeding them anything. I'll just let them have yogurt and then have something later. But okay, so the idea is to use. And then what about Friday night? I'm sorry to be repetitive. Friday night, did we say we are using eating challah and eating it outdoors, making hamotzi outside, or?
So yeah, up to you. If you want to use challah, you could eat it outside with motzi and whatever. If you want to have egg matzah, you could have egg matzah. Up to you.
Okay.
So up to what your nerves can take.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Arlene Smith, you can unmute yourself.
There we go. Is there a way to kosher a toaster oven or one of those cooked countertop ovens?
You mean like a toaster oven? Like a
yeah, there's a toaster oven, and then there are these super toaster ovens that are more like an oven.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller type of ovens. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless it's literally like an oven. If it's toaster, it's just too small. There are too many, too much gook that would be in there and wouldn't be able to get hot enough.
Right.
So I don't think so.
But there's a large cooktop. There's a large countertop. I guess.
If it's like a real-ish oven,
huh?
If it's a real-ish oven,
yeah.
then you should be able to kosher it like a regular oven. Then than putting it on high and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what you're talking about. You can send us a picture, afterwards, so we get a sense of what you're talking about.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
What are you normally making it?
Actually, I was asking for Eric. I don't know.
Okay. All right, send us a picture.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And let's go over to Sherry. You can unmute yourself. Sherry, you there? We don't hear you yet if you're speaking. Okay, Sherry, we'll come back to you. Okay, we're not hearing unless I'm not the only one.
I'm not hearing.
I'm not hearing it. So if it's not working, also you can also type it in the chat box and we can work it that way. Okay. For the meantime, I'm going to go to the next person. Lori, go ahead. Feel free to unmute yourself now.
Hi. So I just got an air fryer. I've not put any Hummings in it, hoping to use it for Pesach. However, I just realized I've cleaned the components of the Hummings sponge and they've gone in my dishwasher. So would I just kosher the components? It's a hard metal with a like a ceramic finish on it.
I don't think in general it could kosher an air fryer, but right, like Klinger, right?
Bread
Yeah,
in it.
You just cleaned it with your sponge. It was cold. Was it cold? Was it cold?
It was hot. Well, the metal was hot, cold, but it was hot water, to clean it, or I put it in the dishwasher. So that was hot water on it.
Wait, you put the components in the dishwasher?
Yeah. It's like a basket and a grill plate.
Yeah, no, I know it is. We use it.
Yeah. So I put them in the dishwasher and I've also cleaned them with a Hummings sponge. So I'm wondering if I could, is there a way I could use it or I can't use it now?
Okay. Rabbi Klinger, you have any kulas up your sleeve?
I mean, would we? I get here. I'm worse, and I have a chavrusa.
Buy another one. Buy a second one.
But it goes up to 500 degrees. Can't I preheat it for 20 minutes? It wouldn't be the same thing.
I would think that if it became, as it were, chametz up because of the dishwasher, I'm less concerned about the sponge, even if it was hot water, because if your hand is under it, I'm not worried about that. But in the dishwasher, can we just say that once we kosher the dishwasher, can't you run an empty cycle and say kabolo kapoto that if it became chametz up in that kind of setting, in that kind of temperature, could you then use the very same mechanism to kosher it? Again, I'm not 100% sure what kind of thing I'm looking at here. I don't have this.
Yeah.
Or if there's or can it go in through a hagala process? Because in the dishwasher you're talking about irui, so hagala should work, but I don't know what.
Problem is, this is like it's a fryer, right? So almost like a frying pan, we know requires a frying pan can't kosher through hagala, right? We have to.
Right, but it was never used yet for frying. So
right.
maybe.
Okay.
You could do hagala.
You're on to that. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Rabbi Klinger, you're right.
So I think Lori, what you can do is like you would kosher any object. So you take a pot and you fill it up with water, boil the water.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, again, I don't have this thing, but probably gonna have to have two dunks. So you'll do one side into the boiling water, take it out on the other side, put it in the boiling water, because you haven't used it for frying yet. If you had done that, that may be a much more complicated situation.
No, I've only used it with raw chicken, with chicken cutlets, no hummus, no breadcrumbs, none of that. So, okay, so I could then do it that way. And then does there have to be a rock in the pot that I'm boiling or something in the pot, or it's just regular water?
No.
Okay.
No, just
Thank
water.
you. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
Sherry, I saw you posted your question in the chat box, so I'll try. If you want to unmute yourself, you can feel free to try again. She asked, can you kosher a keurig, Rabbi?
Can you kosher a keurig? Yeah, I believe we could kosher a keurig. Yeah, I think that's on. It's on the. I'm pretty sure it's on like the OU site or OU magazine or whatever. We'll find it for you. I'm pretty sure you have to clean it very well, as long as it's never been used with flavored coffee. If it's never been used with flavored coffee, then, and it's just like been, sort of regular coffee pods in there, then you can just wait 24 hours, run it, through a regular cycle with water. And you should be good to go.
Okay, excellent. Jeffrey Steinberg. Go ahead.
It was off. It's an off-topic question, so wait till.
So then let's hold on.
Well,
Okay.
the rabbi mentioned something, and so as the lawyers say, you open the door. So I'll wait till the end.
Risa Robbins, go ahead. Good to see everybody, by the way.
Two questions. What about Nespresso pods?
And
What about them?
Are they kosher lepesa?
Yeah, I believe so. Regular Nespresso pods, also that are not unflavored, or kosher for Pesach. I have a link to a thing also at a kosher. It's the same kind of way to kosher it, as I said with the Karen. But as
Okay.
long as they've been unflavored pods, are good.
And what about iced coffee, like Starbucks? That's OU. If the regular coffee is OU, and that's kosher Pesach. The iced coffee also is.
It should be, yeah. If it's just coffee, it's fine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Risa. All right. Let's see here. I see in the chat box, we got a question from Sima. When you use a Passover pot for koshering, does it become Hummings? I'm going to go out and Rabbi, correct me if I'm wrong. The answer is no. It does not become Hummings. The whole point here is that you're koshering everything in it, but
Right.
Any absorption in the utensils that are being koshered in it, again, don't use the utensils that are being koshered for 24 hours first, and then whatever comes out in the process is we call it no tein tam lifgam. It's yucky, for lack of a better way of putting it, and we don't need to worry about that. That is nullified sort of when it comes out.
So, but the pot itself is okay.
Let me just add to that. Just to add to it, that's where that sort of put the rock thing in. It comes right when you have the boiling hot water. So after you're done koshering, what you do is you either put in a rock or a brick or something, or have like an urn of boiling hot water next to it, and then pour that in so that it spills over the top. And then when it spills over the top, you are koshering, in effect, that koshering pot, and it's good to go. And
even though the pot was already kosher lepesach.
Yeah, you just used it to kosher, so now you're like sort of super duper re-koshering it by just pouring the boiling water that's already in it over.
Right. One more question. I wasn't clear when you do Sudash Lishit on Shabbat. Do you make motzi?
Should I take this one?
Rabbi Klinger.
If you do it before the 10:31 deadline, then
after 10:30.
But if you do it after, then no, you're kind of in a difficult situation. You can't have challah, you can't have egg matzah, you can't have regular matzah. So here's a situation where you can rely on eating peirot, eating fruit, which is again what I think you'll find, if I'm not mistaken, the Ramah, Shulchan Aruch Ramah mentioned this. You can use fruit as a means of fulfilling shalosh shudas in this situation. Generally speaking, on a regular Shabbos, it's better to have challah or some sort of bread, hamotzi, but this is what you have to do in this circumstance because there's no other choice.
Okay. Thank you for the
there's a lot of follow-up questions here, Rabbi, about the iced coffee and the coffee. People like coffee, by the way. People really don't want coffee. So somebody asked, Sharon probably asked if you could just, repeat that iced coffee answer. I guess there's people want to know if they can have their iced coffee. And also Amy Heller had followed up with, if you used your Keurig for flavored coffee, can you kosher it at that point?
No. I'm sorry. You can't.
And what about, and iced coffee, I think you had said was that if it was unflavored, I think the question that was asked by Risa was unflavored iced coffee from Starbucks that has just an OU, and you had said that, that's fine if you have like iced coffee like that.
I think are you talking about like the Vias, the Starbucks Vias iced coffees? Is that what you guys are saying?
Risa, you can
no, the ones that are already bottled, like store-bought ice
cream. The bottled. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not on Shabbos.
The VI.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No. Definitely not on Pesach. I mean, I wouldn't even recommend getting that before Pesach, but I guess technically if you did, maybe it could be bottled, but No, I would, no. The pre-made, no, I wouldn't, that would have to have OUP.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Sorry, but like I said,
Then
Why I asked the question again, I got very confused.
the Starbucks Via powders with an OU, even if it doesn't have an OUP, those are fine. Unflavored, those are fine for, they make it, you can have it for a hot or a cold. But if it's literally a pre-prepared, I know what you're talking about, the bottles of iced coffee, no, those aren't good unless they have kosher for Pesach.
Rabbi, just to point out, the Starbucks Pikes Peak has decaf and it says OUP on it.
Great. Even better. Great. Enjoy.
Question from Suzanne Barretts, the mother of the newly married Elliot Barretts. She asked, she's a little confused about the Keurig and espresso machines on the Shul Pesach instructions from last year. She said she believes that you could just pour boiling water over the spout and the pod area and run an empty cycle. But if the Keurig had been used in the past with coffee pods that were flavored, that you can't kosher it. Did I get that right, Suzanne?
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm unmuted. So I thought you could actually, since the pods don't actually enter them, you're just putting it in and taking it out. The coffee doesn't actually ever enter the machine. You were able to take the piece out and kosher where the water goes through, and then you could use it for Pesach. So if you've used it in the past for, say, a vanilla coffee, you can't kosher it and use it for Pesach related, allowed coffee. That's I'm confused. You couldn't just kosher it and then use, regular coffee for Pesach.
Like, why can't it be okay? Yeah, I mean, if you look on some of the websites, we're already being, some of them. So if you look at the CRC, they say you can't kosher the Keurig at all, even if you used it for regular, unflavored. Once it has the flavor, there's just too many moving parts inside. There are sometimes the grounds, sometimes they get in, and that's what they're afraid of. That's the problem.
Okay, I think I misunderstood that in the past.
We might have, and also, 1 second, if it's last year, there might have been a Shas Chak. We were in a, lockdown pandemic. People needed their coffee, and we might have, issued a, sort of a one-time, one-shot deal, one-time ruling.
So you need a Keurig or an espresso new for Pesach, or keep for Pesach every year to use it with Pesach coffee. Could you use anything else in it aside
All
from
the
plain?
coffee, you're right. Any coffee, straight coffee, non-flavored, is kosher for Pesach, even if it's just OU without an OUP.
Right. No, I know that.
And even on the Keurigs. But yeah,
But if
if
ever
you use it
used
for something
anything
else,
in it.
you're stuck.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We got a question here. Can you kosher utensils in a chametz pot? Aria Fried wanted to know, can you kosher utensils in a chametz pot?
Yeah. Again, like Rabbi Klinger said, you don't use it for 24 hours before, and then you kosher, and then pour the water over afterwards, and you're good to go. You could either use it for chametz or for Pesach. Vita Lebwall, I think, had a question. Yeah. So unmute.
I didn't see her, but I think it's sent to you. Let me just see if I can find her on the list here.
Hi, everyone.
So, she unmuted herself. Go ahead, Vita.
Okay. What is the best way to heat soup so that you could be used for the first Seder night?
Heat up the soup on Saturday night.
What is the best way to heat soup?
Yeah, just heat it up on Saturday night.
By the time maybe you get to Shulchan Aruch, it may be, I don't know. I have one other suggestion, which is if you have a crock pot for for Pesach, you could put it on before Shabbos, I think, and let it be there until Saturday night. So I'm not an expert how that will taste, but
I've seen people do that. Yes. Okay.
Okay, we had a couple more questions in the chat box, and I see Jared had your hand up, and I think Jared wanted to ask, how do you work Havdalah on Passover? So on the Saturday night, at the Seder on Saturday night, you're going to include Havdalah in the Kiddush, in what we call Yak Nahaz, and just follow what the Haggadah says, and you'll just sort of use a candle that's sort of in the room to be the Ner that's already there. And you'll recite the text of Havdalah that you'll see in the Haggadah. David Zeitz wanted to know, can we buy a cast iron pan and use for Pesach? They may come pre-seasoned. Oh, Morgenstern, I remember you once had a phone conversation. I think I was there when you spoke to Rabbi Jachter about this. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, the cast iron pans are big problems. Cast iron pans, I don't know if you wanted to ask this question, because the cast iron pans, they have to be kosher in and of themselves. Even before you worry about chametz, the way they're seasoned, they actually have to have, they make cast iron pans that have like a hechsher, because they're seasoned with, sometimes it could be with things that are, unkosher, literally non-kosher materials, and those could be problematic. So it has to be a kosher cast iron pan, and I would assume that once it has that kosher whatever certification, however, I know that there are some like that, the pre-seasoned ones, I'm sure there should be, I would have to look that up. Like, I'm sure there would be it's either a yay or nay if it's, if it's okay. But we could follow up with you on that. Maybe send an email to myself, Rabbi Klinger. We could follow up.
Okay.
Hillary Linsky wanted to know, going back to the Kirid here, if it was used with hot chocolate pods. She assumes that the same issue would apply in terms of being able to use it wouldn't be able to use it for Pesach, right?
So that would only apply if the hot chocolate pods are not kosher for Pesach, right? So that would be, we'd have to check that. So let me see. Go on to the next one, see if I can find.
Right, Susan, in terms of the Motzaei Shabbos, Hamotzi on Shabbos, Friday night. Yeah, so you can Friday night or even in the morning before 10:30, you can consume challah. Though, as Rabbi Morgan suggested, egg matzah is fine as well on Friday night and Shabbos morning. Though again, either one, you need to be done eating it by 10:30, 10:31. Go ahead. I see the Aspices have a question. Go ahead. You're on mute. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm sorry to ask this again since other people had raised their Starbucks, but in case you're not familiar with these, this is just brewed Starbucks coffee and water. So it's just coffee and water. So we've never used it before, but since everyone's asking about it, why can't we use it? So we don't have to use that instant stuff. Because
we want to support the Geffen, thieves. No, honestly, like I said, we don't know what else goes in there. It's like, once we say that, so then we would say, well, you could use all fruit juices, would say you could use, right, and it doesn't have to have, but, we know that there are reasons that these things have to have kosher for Passover certification. So I think that would be the issue. Like I said, b'di'evet, right? And, after the fact, if it's, I have it and I need it and I did it, you didn't eat chametz, but it's not something that we would recommend.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Risa had asked here in the chat box, what about pre-cut vegetables? I think we touched on that, right? The pre-cut vegetables need to have a hashgacha for Pesach, right?
No, frozen. That's only frozen.
Pre-cut, I think, is good, right? As long as it's plain.
Pre-cut, as long as you buy before Pesach, anything pre-cut is fine.
Okay, there you go. And Diane asks, last year we were allowed to use frozen meat and poultry that we had in our freezer, not kosher for Pesach. Are we allowed to do that this year? I think so. Yeah, I think we're good.
That's fine.
I think we're good on that one. Okay, I think we got all the questions in the chat box, and there are is there any last questions here? I want to raise their hand with a one more Pesach question that they want to ask. Risa, go ahead. You get the last word for tonight.
I don't need that. But one quick question. So I was reading the book and I was very confused. What's the story with milk? Does it need hashgacha? That you could buy it before it doesn't need hashgacha, but if you buy it on, it has to have the Passover hashgacha?
So I'll correct me if I'm wrong, Rabbi, but the answer is that if you're buying the milk before Pesach, before Pesach, then you're good to go, because as long at that point it's whatever maybe absorption of chametz or whatever, it's all nullified and you're good to go. But once Pesach comes around, the problem is chametz is prohibited even in a drop, and there's no a nullification at that point of that chametz. So on Pesach, you would need to buy the milk that has a kosher for Pesach symbol on it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm still looking up this hot chocolate thing. Oh, and by the way, just to make a little caveat, the where as long as it has an OU, then it's kosher and it's used, for the K cups and espresso, whatever. That's only if it's not flavored and regular, not decaf. Decaf there's a different process that goes into it, which entails some sort of climate stuff. So that would require special certification. That would require a kosher for Pesach thing. And Hillary Linsky, we're going to get back to you about the hot cocoa question, that if you put hot cocoa in, does that apply? Does that count as flavored? I'm looking it up, and I'm still coming up blank, but we will get back to you on it.
Sharon,
Okay, I have one. You're saying with decaf. What if you have decaf during the year with the carrot? Does that also make it that you can't kosher it?
If you have decaf during the year with a Keurig, does that make that you can't kosher it?
Yes, he said yes.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that.
Have it on, so it's still the same thing as flavored then.
Yeah, that would be the same thing as flavored. However, I was just saying, so I was texting to someone, like, if you have, if you use decaf, once or twice, because I don't know, my mom loves decaf, right? So we keep some decaf when she comes, right? So she's coming from Israel, it's going to be over a year, she's coming back, right? So we use it once or twice and, whatever, but 100 other times you're using regular, that's fine. I think the same thing with the flavor. You did flavored 3 times out of 100, I think it's fine. You can still kosher it. That would be that there. I'll give you a little bit something to hold on to on that.
Okay,
right?
thanks.
Karen, go ahead.
The baby carrots in the bag fall under the same category if you buy them before Pesach? Because I thought there was a problem with the baby carrots because some people say they're washed with something.
I think that correct me if I'm wrong, I think if you buy baby carrots certainly before Pesach, I think
it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
What
Okay.
about calcium enriched lactose milk? I know you can buy lactose milk before Pesach. What about the one that's calcium enriched? Would that also fall under the same category?
It's fine. Lactate milk, it's fine.
Even
Before Pesach,
calcium enriched. Okay.
that's fine.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Jerry, you there? See your hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Can you buy yogurt that doesn't have a Passover texture, like the Dannon plain and vanilla?
I would consult with the OU book, but I feel like that for yogurt, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Rabbi, but I think that it probably does need to have a hashgacha, like a OUP or something, a kosher Pesach hashgacha. Would you agree, Rabbi?
What was that for yogurt? Yeah, that will require. Wait a minute. Hold on. We'll blow everyone's mind before we get off. And I had to get off also. Suzanne Barretts and Michael Mas Yashkoach for pushing on the Keurig. Apparently, I was looking at the CRC. The OU says it's fine. You can kosher the Keurig. Irrespective. And they give you, and it's Hagala, whatever. It's through running it and through pouring boiling hot water on the piece itself. And it doesn't make a caveat as to whether you use flavored or unflavored. So we're gonna go with that. It must be what we went with. And I apologize for the confusion and the angst. We're good to go. So I don't even need to know about the hot chocolate. I'm gonna send this link to Rabbi Klinger, and he could throw it into the chat box. Or I'll throw it into the chat box. Okay.
Okay, excellent. Let me see if we have more questions in the chat box here. I see people are helping out with shopping suggestions. Okay, good. Okay, I see Aria's got a question. Go ahead, Aria, with a cool Allegra sign like that.
Oh, here I am. Okay. That also, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but the Keurig, I was reading that, yes, you can kosher everything. You cannot use flavored coffee pods. I don't think if you said that. You can't use flavored coffee pods on Pesach.
Right, unless it has, right, unless it has the OUP. Yeah,
Right.
the regular one.
You can use regular decaf coffee plain, even if it doesn't have kosher Pesach sign on it.
That
true?
Correct. Correct. All right. I just put the Koshering the Keurig into the chat. With that, I have to run off to. This was awesome. This was really fun. I have to run to another meeting. I apologize. What, Rabbi Klinger? What?
Just to connect with people.
Yeah.
I know somebody. So take care of them.
Enjoy your coffee, everyone. Shkayach.
I'll stay on for another minute. I see somebody had written in, I don't know who iPhone is, but that they joined late with a Bedikat Chametz, Spir Chametz, just to review. For Bedikat Chametz, you're going to do it on Thursday night. Same way you would do it on a regular Bedikat Chametz night. Then Friday morning by 11, I forget the time now, check, we'll send it out obviously, but it's 11 something. You're going to, by that time, burn the chametz.
11:46, you said before.
There you go. Thank you, Chani. That's when you'll burn the chametz. But again, you can still then continue to eat chametz, but there that chametz that you searched for and that you found, you should burn it by that time. And then the next day, you should dispose of the chametz as well, not burning it, obviously on Shabbos, but you'll either, again, flush it down the toilet if there's anything left, like if you particularly use challah, you'll do that as well by around the same time the next day on Shabbos. Okay. Okay. And somebody asked me here about the fast of the firstborn. And the fast of the firstborn is on Thursday morning, so 7:30 davening. Siyum to follow. Sharon, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the Keurig? You have to not use it for 24 hours, take the little piece inside, kosher it, and then you can use it for any type of regular coffee. It doesn't have to have an OUP on it?
For the regular. If it's going to be flavored, it has to have Passover certification.
Is there a flavored Keurig with Passover certification? Anyone know?
I'm not sure, but if anybody knows, put it in the chat box right now. And
also, you can't have the decaf. You have to just use regular coffee. Because the decaf has to have OUP also.
I feel like he's I don't remember what he said now. He's Rabbi Orson hopped off, but I think with decaf, he was saying it was a little bit of an issue. So
the only thing you can use for the Keurig coffee is regular coffee, and it doesn't have to have a P. It just has to have an OU on it.
Right. That's what the rabbi said. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, and Michael Moss is confirming, by the way, that no decaf or flavor. That was what the rabbi said.
Okay, yeah. One more thing is I think I bought sugar-free gum, and someone said it has kidney oat in it. The sugar-free gum that they're selling?
That's possible. So if it does, you can find a Sephardic friend and make their day. But I'm not so sure. I'm not. I'd have to look at if you send me a picture of the ingredients.
Okay.
I can make a better call now. Okay, Nancy, go ahead.
So you can buy milk before Pesach that doesn't have a kosher Pesach and use it on Pesach. Does that rule apply also to butter and cheese?
No, for cheese and for butter as well, there you have to make sure it's got a kosher Pesach symbol on it. Okay. For milk, we can you can purchase it beforehand, and it's okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Nancy. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I guess this is obvious. My timing is all mixed up. So if you're going away, then the night before you do the Bedika, and I guess then you burn it in the morning that you're going away. You do have to do the burning. I guess you burn the morning that you're actually leaving.
So if you're leaving early, like just in a regular year.
Leaving this week.
Right. So you do the Bedika the last night that you're in the house. And then I believe at that point you can hold on to the crumbs if you want. And then you can, I think that you would do the biur at the time that is the normal time for biur.
Ah, so I should bring it with me.
On Friday morning.
Oh, so I should bring it with me.
Yeah, you just need to do the badika early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Khani, go ahead.
In reference to Nancy's question about the gum, in the underneath the gum in the Seasons and Queens, there was a sign that said kitniot.
Okay. So right, it may very well be. I think also Sharon has to have that question, but it may very well be that it is kitniot. But again, Sharon, send me a picture and or the rabbi a picture, and we can easily identify if it's kitniot.
Okay, Howie also has a
I
question.
just wanted to ask on the Keurig, back to the Keurig, the inside piece is made out of plastic. How do you kosher plastic?
So I should, so there are different schools of thought on this, and I should probably double check that Morgenstern before, I say this, but he's already off the call now. So, but plastic, according to some, plastic you can't kosher, but according to many, you can kosher plastic. I'm just actually looking here on some, in the Pesach, digest that, I think Rabbi Rubenstein actually, Zichron Livracha, put it together first, and Rabbi Morgenstern over the years just like updated it a little bit. It says, when it comes to a stainless steel dishwasher, even with the plastic racks, that it can be koshered. So I believe that, Rabbi Morgenstern's position is that plastic can be koshered, and you would do it through Hagala. Or in that situation, again, I don't own a Keurig, but it sounds like if you follow what the OU's direction is there, it sounds like maybe you're pouring water on it, boiling water on it. So I would just take a look at that link that Rabbi Morgenstern posted in the chat box about how to kosher the Keurig, follow it step by step. If you have further questions about that, let the rabbi ask the rabbi or myself, and we'll be happy to help you. But I think that the plastic is kosherable according to many. I do acknowledge though that there are some who don't hold that way. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see. Did I get all the questions here? I think I did. I don't see any more in the chat box, which is great. If you have further questions after this time, you can always reach out to us. But and if you want to go over this, it will be posted on YouTube tomorrow. And so you can have fun and watch how we had a good time once again. And if you also need guidance, by the way, about that Friday night Shabbos morning thing, watch this again, the beginning part. The first about 10-15 minutes are really dedicated to how to handle the unique piece this year about Shabbos being Erev Pesach. So if there are no more questions, I will wish everybody a good night, and stay tuned. Tomorrow night we have a program 8:00, our continuation of our Gedolim series, and on Thursday night I'm giving a Shabbat Hagadol Drasha, a Zoom version. And Rabbi Morgenstern is giving a live Shabbat Hagadol Drasha Shabbos afternoon in the tent/social hall. So you have some opportunities and virtually and live to engage in some Torah study before Pesach. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Everybody. Good night.